I don't know how relevant this is anymore, nor do I know how much people actually care about this, but we are finally putting to rest all that happened with Corey Perry and the Chicago Blackhawks, because when it comes to his Edmonton Oilers days, everything that happened with him in Chicago should be in the rearview mirror. But leave it to John Scott, who does work for NBC Sports and who, of course, is the all-star legend himself, to go out there on his own podcast and pretty much reveal what it was that happened with Perry. Now, we weren't going to get this information from the team or from Perry himself, but to see somebody who is in the media and in the public sphere, he does have a role in the hockey broadcasting world, go out there and say this, it kind of puts to rest everything that we may have been wondering. So, our source is John Scott's own Dropping the Gloves podcast, where on the January 22nd episode talking about Patrick Waugh and the Corey Perry signing, he goes out there and pretty much reveals what it was that Perry did. Now, I'll leave a link in the description to this quote posted on Twitter by John Puck 1992. He has the clip and the snippet of what it is that Scott goes out there and says. I took the liberty to go out there and transcribe in writing the words it is that Scott ends up saying. So, without further ado, let's go out there and read the quote from Scott himself. I'll put it up on the screen what it was that Scott said on his podcast. Corey Perry was a model citizen in the NHL for like 18 years. He made a mistake in Columbus one night. He drank too much, and he made a pass at a staff member who worked for NBC. And then, Chicago, the environment that they live in now, if there's any hint of anything like that, they just get rid of everything. Scorched earth, he's gone. If this is any other team, he's still on the team. He's still with them. And they just kind of maybe have a slap on the wrist, maybe a minor fine or suspension. But because Chicago and the era that we live in, and they just bundled their thing in 2010, they had to get rid of him. If you throw that out the window, this is a great signing for the Edmonton Oilers. Now that is talked about, as we had said, by John Scott, who does do work for NBC and the Chicago broadcast. So if he's saying in particular on his own show that, yeah, Corey Perry made a pass at a staff member who worked at NBC, I mean, the guy works for NBC himself, so I don't necessarily know if he'd be all too inaccurate in that kind of assessment. Now, sure, maybe that's all hearsay, maybe that's all just telephone, people saying what happened, and the word spreads around to other people, but because this is like the only information that we have other than the reports from, I think it was Saravalli, back when the initial incident happened, that Corey Perry had some sort of an alcohol-related incident. Again, the phrase that we were tossing out repeatedly in those conversations was that whatever Corey Perry did was not illegal, but it was inappropriate. Inappropriate but not illegal. That's kind of the term that people were tossing out there. And if this is the case, where it is, you know, Corey Perry getting a little bit too much to drink and then making a pass at one of the employees at NBC, of course, like, it's not appropriate, especially considering Corey Perry has a wife and a child. But at the end of the day, Scott makes his point very known at the end of the quote, that because Chicago is in a precarious spot with their history, because they covered up the Kyle Beach thing 10 years ago, because there's already this aura of, let's just say, irresponsibility that has floated around the organization, anything resembling some sort of a controversy like this gets the guy canned. And now he's signed with Edmonton, where, as we had talked about in the video 2 days ago, he'll be getting a bunch of signing bonuses, assuming he plays a bunch of games, so hopefully Corey Perry will be able to pay back the $1 million he owes Chicago, which is really funny still when you think about it. But either way, I'll leave a link in the description to the audio clip from John Scott if you want to go out there and listen to the words from the man himself, but this is indeed what he says. Corey Perry, the reason everything went down and the reason his contract was terminated is apparently now revealed. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the entire situation, and how do you feel now that we have some sort of inkling as to how everything went down? Does this surprise you in any way? Did you think it would be a bigger deal? Did you think it would be a smaller deal? Let me know your thoughts. The comment section is your floor. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.